Hello Reborners, my name is Karen and this is Making Dolls with Karen. We're back with Brooklyn. She's had a bake and I don't know, 05 just doesn't seem to darken them that much. I can see a difference here from here. This is blank vinyl down here at the bottom and you can tell that this is a little bit darker and probably as dark as it's going to get with 05. So I've decided we're just going to move on to the next color. Her enhancements are staying very, very well. Well, because I sealed her. I sealed them down so they can't go away. And this coat should darken her up a bit and make her look a little more alive. That's the goal of all these different layers, is to give depth to the paint on the doll. That's why we do it in layers instead of just coming up with one color that would be the color of the doll, you know. They could probably come up with a color that would just be one color and you paint it on. And that's the color the doll's gonna be. But by doing it in layers like this, it's supposed to give them depth and make them look more realistic. So that's why we do it this way. Brooklyn's a very cute kit. I've made several Brooklyns and they seem to be popular. She's one of the cuter kits, I think, of the girls. I have some new kits coming. Well, they're new to me. Some lady bought them and she didn't want to make them, and I think she said she had a baby and she didn't have time anymore, and she just wanted to get rid of them. So she sold them to me, and there's one doll in there that she could not identify, and I don't know the doll either. I couldn't tell well enough from the picture if it was even a Bountiful Baby kit. I couldn't tell. So I guess when I get the doll, I'm going to post it on the baby site that I'm a member of and see if anybody can tell me what doll it is. I don't know. Evidently it doesn't have a COA, or she would have had something to say what the doll is. I know Bountiful Baby does not give out COAs for their artist kits, so it's possible it's an older artist kit that I'm just not familiar with. I did not recognize the doll when I looked at it, but now when it's in front of my face, I might recognize it. I don't know, but it's a little bit iffy right now. If I'm going to recognize it, I don't know. Okay, we're going to pounce her around a little bit, and then we're going to just set her over here to the side and let her dry a little, I guess, while we're doing these other parts. Look at her foot. I think that's so cute. I've never been able to get the creasing on the foot to stay that good, and I'm very happy with it so far. Now the colors may cover it up, but it's not gonna get washed out. That's what's been happening to my colors in my creasing, is the other paint is what was just washing it out. And I don't know why that would happen, because you know, you bake it to cure it and it's supposed to be cured, and if it's still washing out, well, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with this picture? Perhaps, I don't know, perhaps, and it's really only just the creasing. And it's more in these more superficial little creases, which I didn't even crease on her. It's more that than any other kind that seemed to wash out. And like sometimes on the feet and the hands, when you crease them, some of it will wash out, but all of it won't, and it makes it look funny, like half their hand is creased and the other half isn't. And I've just had so much struggle with creasing. I'm just not a fan of modeling or creasing. It just seems like it's such a waste of time. It's either overwhelming and too much, or it just gets washed away. So either way you go, it's just, I don't know. I just love these little hands. Look at that. They just look so cute. I'm hoping they're going to look cute when we're finished. You know, paint sticks to paint, and that's a lot in the creases. I creased her 3 or 4 times with different methods. I was determined these creases are not going away. she's kind of an experiment here to see if I can keep the creases by putting them on and then sealing her. So far, so good. They look pretty good to me. And I'm going to see how she looks at the end, and that's going to be my deciding factor. Well, that's always the deciding factor in anything you do, is how do they look after they've had a bake, and you've put some more paint over it and had another bake, and you know, a lot of times the next layer makes or breaks the doll. You just don't know until you do it. And that's what artwork is, I guess. It's trial and error sometimes, it's expertise sometimes, and we can't always make a perfect baby, but it's a piece of artwork, is what it is. And they're going to have tiny little flaws, and they're going to have, you know, sometimes something here or there that you didn't expect. That doesn't mean there's something wrong with your doll. It just means it wasn't what you actually set out to do, probably. But I don't know. I love painting dolls, and I love sharing my art with other people. And I love other people giving me ideas so I can try them. I'll try them, unless they just seem so far off the wall that you just couldn't make yourself do it. Like if somebody said put a black layer on your doll first before you do anything else, I would go, I don't think so. But you know, if it sounds feasible, I'll do it. I'll try it at least one time. And yep. And hopefully we'll have a pretty baby at the end. Usually this is the step where we check everything on the doll. The nails, the lips, the scratch, everything, whatever you did to the doll, we check it, because once we put, well, for me anyway, once I put that blush layer on, I'm not wanting to change anything else. Because the blush is just the top layer. It's the top last, she's already blushed a little bit. But the blush I'm talking about is her top layer of color. And if you put it on and then you do something else to the doll, you're probably going to have to blush them again. Don't like to repeat steps, so I try to make sure all the steps are done that I want done before I put the blush on. Some people just go willy-nilly in any order they want to, but I follow the same order every time. And some people would call that too regimented. Some people would call that a carefully laid out plan. I call it a repeatable process. I can make a nice doll every time. No, they don't always look the same, because sometimes I go darker, sometimes I go lighter, sometimes I crease, sometimes I vein. I even occasionally model, but modeling is just ugly to me. I don't like it. Now Presley was a different story. Presley, if you haven't watched his video yet, I highly recommend you watch his video. I got that doll from a sale, and he was like $40, and he's not only a genuine reborn doll, he is a limited edition. And I checked all his numbers out and all the stuff on his neck and everything with Bountiful Baby, and they said, yes, indeed, he is an original Presley. He doesn't have a COA because evidently somebody had a kid or something, or a grandma or something that had that doll, and evidently they didn't want it anymore, and they just put it in a box and donated it. And so I lucked up on him for $40. I brought him home. He was a little bit filthy. I took him apart and I cleaned him real good, and then I could see just how pretty he was painted. He was painted so nicely. But I thought his okay, I'm going to get the word in a minute. His modeling, I keep wanting to say ringworm because that's what it reminds me of. I thought his modeling was a little intense. So I decided to put one coat of paint on him to try to tone it down. He's already really, really dark, but I put one coat on him and he toned down just a tiny, tiny bit, which I'm going to have to just live with that. I love his sculpt, and he is a beautiful doll, even the way that he is, and I'm keeping him. Of course, my motto is everything's for sale for the right price. So if anybody wants to pay my price, they can have Presley. Otherwise, Presley is mine. He will always be for sale, but he is mine. That can give you a hint that his price is going to not be something anybody's going to want to pay, probably. Okay, there she goes. That's about all you can do in one step. I know it's kind of boring. At least I've been told I was boring, so I don't know. You can't do much more than that in one step. I do see something by her eye that I want to try to fix. This looks like a buildup of paint. If I can get this stupid lid back on this paint. Looks like a little bit of a buildup in the corner of her eye, and I don't want that there. I like Brooklyn. She's a very pretty baby, and I want her to come out pristinely clean. And by that I mean nothing in the crevices that's not supposed to be there. Her crevices are creased, most of them. Anyway, she's going to be pretty good. Her little scratch is pretty good. I don't think I need to do any more to it. And she's got a few little flaws, but they're just very tiny. And with clothes on and all that, they won't even be noticeable, I don't think. But we're going to get her back in the oven for another bake. And then when we come back, unless I see some glaring thing that needs to be done, we're gonna blush her up and everything, and that'll be the end of her her video, because she'll be finished. She is pale looking, I know that, but you know, more of the same is just going to make her look the wrong color, I think. But anyway, I'm going to ask everybody to please like, subscribe, and share, and happy reborning.